everybody. This video is walking you guys through your second essay assignment, which is on the Enlightenment and Romanticism units. So in this unit, you guys read a lot of different texts by a lot of different authors of a lot of different genres, and either they were from the Enlightenment or the Romanticism movements. So what you're going to do is choose one of the works that you read in this unit and analyze it in relation to that movement that it's associated with. So you're going to make sure that you first identify which movement that you are connecting the text to. And you're going to show how the author and that work exhibit particular Enlightenment or Romantic elements or concepts. So there's a lot of different things you could talk about. So if you want to talk about, say, the figure of the tragic artist in the Romantic movement, you can do that. If you want to talk about the the American Gothic in relation to the Romantic movement, you can do that. If you want to talk about Enlightenment, you want to talk about the focus on logic, reason, or the rights of the individual, or any of these many different things that we've read, make sure that you're demonstrating understanding not only of the movement itself, but of how that text portrays particular ideals of that movement. So what are you seeing in the text that shows elements related to that movement? So the topic is broad, so you get to choose the author and work from this unit that is most interesting to you. So if you really enjoy the Enlightenment, I would suggest choosing from there. If you really enjoyed Romanticism, choose from there. And then make sure that you are clearly identifying specific literary elements related to that movement and explore how the text does or even does not fit with some of those elements. So some of these you could make the argument are going against the grain of particular movements, or maybe they're doing something to kind of subvert some of those expectations or mores of that movement. So you do need to use one credible source in this one to support your analysis. And the way you do that is you find a source that speaks to the text or speaks to, say, the movement itself or whatever it might be. You pull in specific quotes from that source to help support your claims. So it's adding credibility and support for your own argument by using published credible research. So to use sources that are credible, don't use 123helpme.com or something like that. Use PBS, use biography.com, use any of these more credible websites. So make sure that you, as always, are pulling out evidence from the text to support your claims as well. So you should have quotes from the text that show your audience what you're talking about. If you're, say, for example, let's talk about Judith Sargent Murray. If you're talking about her allusion to Newton and why that's important, in displaying a particular romantic element, in particular Enlightenment element, such as the focus on logic, reason, science, and math, then you need to pull in a specific quote from the text that shows your audience that. So give me the line from the poem that talks about Newton. Your essay needs to be, your author choices here there are many. So choose the author and work that was most interesting to you. Again, it has to be one of the works you read in this unit, so please don't give me an essay on Poe and the Telltale Heart. As much as I love that short story, that's not what we read in this unit. So your essay needs to be 2 or 3 pages in length, and it's due by Sunday, July 23rd at 11:59 p.m. Remember that everything is checked for plagiarism. Remember to do the minimum length, of course. You can always write more. And then use MLA formatting. So you're going to need to analyze the works in depth using your knowledge of the era, of the movement, and the biographical information as well to contextualize the work. So just like in your first essay, absolutely you can pull in the biography and the historical context, but that should be secondary. You should not make this be a biography essay. It should not be a history essay. It should be a literary analysis essay above all else. But you should bring in those elements and talk about them contextually. Because for many of these, obviously, that's very important. What was happening, for example, around Thomas Jefferson, around the Declaration of Independence, the historical context, obviously very important. Same thing for many of these authors. So you guys are going to be assessed in making sure you have a full development of your argument with a central focus on the movement itself. So you're going to probably want to foreground some of the principles of that movement for your audience. Make sure they know what those are. Use proper number of sources as well as citations in text and on a bibliography. Good evidence from the text and the source or sources to support your claims. And proper MLA formatting and style, of course. Make sure that you are using scholarly language. So make sure you're using the language of these movements, the language of the genres that you're analyzing, as well as literary terminology, literary elements. to support or frame your analysis. And then have a complete essay structure as always, with a clean copy and development of your full ideas. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. But otherwise, this is, again, purposely broad. Choose the work that you read that was most interesting to you, along with the movement that you found most interesting. And let me know if you have any questions.